Hey guys, it's Matt. The Diddy trial, or Puff Daddy, or Sean Combs, or Diddy, or Dilly Dally, or whatever his name is one of the biggest Notnilc presentations I've ever seen. It may be the greatest example of all time of even if it's real, it's fake. Those involved in it at every level, those that will testify, those that will say the doors were locked behind them in one of Diddy's freak-off parties, they were there. They participated in it. The people testifying, they believe every bit of it. Diddy doesn't know any better. But see, even the first grade truther notices, and I appreciate what they do. They notice there's something not right with this reality. That things seem scripted, that things seem off, that things seem like an act in a play and fake. And again, this is just more evidence. We know now that it's not people in on it and scripted lines. And actually, Johnny Depp maybe really believed he was having a trial against Amber Heard. Even to us, it was clearly a Notnilc scripted presentation. They don't know any better. They're on the download. They're on the frequency. They're on the radio station. These sorts of presentations by the dark part of reality itself, we call the screen or the outer ring of reality or the Notnilc, is, we don't talk about this enough, is a reflection of the degraded state of the collective consciousness. As above, so below. As the collective consciousness becomes more and more corrupted, the real spirits become more and more corrupted. There's only a tiny little percentage of us jumping off the ship of fools. Then reality itself at the screen level, which can't exist on its own without real people, it will reflect the level of the degraded collective consciousness. Matt, by that notion, this shit's going to get worse. There'll be another trial. Of course it's going to get worse. What did you expect? If there's any way to make it better, I'm not resigned to the fact that we're completely doomed. You and I, and we're off the ship. We're not doomed. We're separating from it. We're detaching from it. We're fine. But if there's any way to help out the masses to break the spell, I mean, I'd like to help someday, but right now I don't see a way to do it. Again, it's similar to the as above, so below. These things, guys, that come from the screen. It doesn't mean it's all fake, or it not at all. Everybody at every level of this trial, whatever happened, if you were standing there, really happened, likely. But it's still a participation in what the Notnilc wants. It's still a participation in a reality script. Now, that doesn't make any sense to those that participated. And somebody says, I was at one of those freak-off parties. If you don't know what's going on, guys, give me another few minutes. I'll fill you in. To do this video, I had to watch 5 or 6 or 7 videos and spend about an hour over the last 2 days. It just keeps popping up, and this is a Notnilc presentation. I have to dive into this. In summary, though, to start, before we get into all the details, this is one of the greatest examples of all time of even if it's real, it's fake. This is simply the next iteration of all the Epstein stuff. It's anybody that will be associated with Diddy or this person. Oh, they have LeBron James saying there ain't no party like a Diddy party. There ain't no, what's that? That's from something. There ain't no party like a Diddy party. They have LeBron James. We predicted his humiliation will be coming soon. We're surprised it hasn't happened yet, but he's still doing pretty well on the basketball court out here, which is completely unnatural. There's no way a 40-year-old man could run around and jump for that long without knee issues or back issues, but that's the spell of the talcum powder, but we don't want to stray too far. Even if it's real, it's fake. It's the new Epstein. It's the black Epstein. It's the Epstein that can dance and rap, but it's the same thing. Back before the Trump, I'm doing hand quotes, election, 2015 even, the people on the left were sending emails to their friends and family that are conservatives and Republicans that, look, Donald Trump and you people that you love on the right, they visited the Epstein Island. And the people on the right, the conservatives, were taught by the Notnilc to do the same thing, to say, look, your Clintons and all you people that you love on the left were going to the Epstein Island. They both believed each other was corrupted by going to the Epstein Island, when it's not that they both sides were doing it, Republicans and Democrats. That's the Notnilc script that was playing out. That's the game that everybody was fooled into playing. And the way it's going to be done here with Diddy. Because over how many years, how many famous celebrities and rappers and people will be, and politicians will be in some way associated with Diddy, or there'll be a picture taken with Diddy, or there'll be, and it's not just the first grade truther will scream out, well, that's how they have leverage over you. Yeah, we know. Okay, go back to go back to thinking Tavistock and the secret societies do everything. Well, yeah, that's a factor. There's a lot more to it than that. Matt, before you go forward, most of us really don't follow this sort of thing. I mean, it's not really, and we have a large percentage of righteous truthers here that will remind you, I threw out my television, sir, across the street. I don't watch that. Can I tell you about, sir, come back. These righteous truthers will tell you every chance they can how they threw their television out. So Matt, spend just 3 minutes filling us in. Absolutely. I'm glad you asked. I'll fill you in. Now, the trial is expected to last about 2 months. It officially started on May 5th. That's Cinco de Mayo. Just a coincidence. That's like the biggest party day of the year. And there's Sean Combs and illegal activities during the parties and freak-offs and thousands of bottles of baby oil. It's just the Notnilc doesn't use gematria or symbolism. You'd have to be one of those people. I don't look closely at the symbolism anymore, guys. It's always there. It always will be there. So why keep looking at it? I'm just pointing it out. Started Cinco de Mayo. What a coincidence. And I just looked it up per the AI. Hey, thanks, AI overview. It's expected to end on or around July 4th, Independence Day. Now, it could go a day earlier, a couple days late, whatever, but it says right here in front of me, I guess I'll show it to you, expected to end July 4th. Of course, who knows what their intentions are with the symbolism, but it's always there. Now, okay, over the course of the 2-month trial, most people, let's just use the United States, 250 million people will get about a minute worth of news a day regarding the Diddy Daddy trial, a news feed on their phone, or they may catch part of the world news, whatever it may be. They'll get about a minute a day. And what they'll take in as the weeks goes on, and then this is the Notnilc is making this intentional presentation, there will be like hundreds of different strange allegations against Diddy. I mean, everything from drugs to trafficking to guns. I mean, and I haven't spent that much time. Just this long list, but it's very vague, intentionally vague and nebulous. And nobody really knows. If you ask someone on the street, sir, can you tell me, have you been following the Diddy trial? Oh, you betcha. I watch the world news every night. You better believe I've been following the Diddy trial. Could you outline for me specifically the charges against him? Nobody can do. Well, there's guns. Okay, well, are guns illegal in any of the 50 states? No. Well, there's drugs. Well, there's drugs in every celebrity home. Nobody can really put a finger on what the charges are. Now, maybe it will become more clear, but right now, this is what the Notnilc is doing very intentionally. Anybody on the street, I can't even tell you how many, trafficking, this and that, and he's doing this and that, but there's no clear illegality yet. I don't know exactly what the Notnilc is up to, but Notnilc, if you're listening, your presentation and your ruse, your cunning attempt to trick us is really obvious and pathetic in this case. So in summary, there seems to be, to anybody following it, again, catching a minute of news a day, your average man or woman on the street, there seems to be 1,000 allegations, but they won't be able to tell you a clear path to conviction or a clear path to illegality. There's an allegation of this. There's a rumor of this. That's what it's doing now. I mean, who knows? I don't think I'm going to follow it that closely, but there's many reasons why it may be making this sort of presentation. In terms of its exact conclusions as to what the Notnilc is up to here, I'm not prepared to really talk about it because there's so much that's yet to play out. It would just be speculation at this point. We know 100% that it's a major, even if it's real, it's fake exercise. If anybody's new, that means even if it's real, there were real parties, real debauchery. If you went into the closet, there really was over 1,000 bottles of baby oil. If you were there, it really happened. Yet that doesn't mean that every one of those people involved was not some sort of strange entity following a Notnilc script. It's not like Sean was given scripted lines and everybody that testifies came from the secret societies and nobody went to a party and they're all lying and they're all out. They participated in all this, but they're still following, per the frequency they're on, a Notnilc script. They know not what they do. Even if it's real, it's fake. There's a real party. Maybe you were invited, or somebody listening to this was invited to one. There was weird baby oil, debauchery, whatever these allegations are. Any possible allegation, just think of one, and that's what they're throwing out against Diddy, except I have not heard of the official charge of murder. But the official charge in a courtroom of murder, that is not presented. But basically everything else is. Even if it's real, it's fake. Well, Matt, there was a real party with all this sick stuff. What do you mean it's fake? At the metaphysical level, it comes from the outer ring of reality. If the outer ring of reality, what we call Notnilc, the asshole dark, the plumber's ass crack, if it needed this to happen, if it planned this to happen, if it wanted this to happen, and it used Diddy in any way, even if we're getting it wrong, even if Diddy, this is his humiliation and payback, and he maybe knows more than what I suggest. I don't think he does. But even in this case, if it is orchestrated by Notnilc, even so, 99% involved here aren't in on it. They don't know they're reading scripted lines. If there's a dark part of reality here, a Christian calls Satan, that organized this, and we can see this is an absolute Notnilc presentation, 100%. Then, even if it's real, there's a real party, it's still fake because it's orchestrated by a part of reality the people involved don't even understand. That's the essence of even if it's real, it's fake. And we know now most things in this reality work this way. This is beyond the comprehension of the 1st through 5th grade truther. So the mall events, the school event, they simply yell out that everybody's an actor. Everybody knows what's going on. Everybody gets orders and they're paid and threatened. Every explanation has to fit within the known reality bookends. But there's a lot going on here that is supernatural. There's a lot going on here that's way beyond our perception and comprehension. And it's proven itself that it has to work this way over and over for many, many years. So even if it's real, it's fake is basically proven, has been proven for a long time. It has to do with frequency, download, and radio station. And the entity that chooses to get on the frequency, it's the opposite of the jumping off the back of the ship of fools. We've jumped off the back of the ship of fools. We're rowing away. We're swimming away from the ship. That's leaving the frequency. The Notnilc or whatever it has no frequency control over you. That doesn't mean you're not influenced. You still might make bad choices. But basically, the further away the ship gets, the further away we row, that we are so far away from its frequency, it has no direct influence over us. Were those firmly affixed on the ship of fools, not only does it just blind them to the true reality, the way your best friend can't see anything wrong with the 7-Eleven job application in September of 2001 and just still thinks it's a 7 or 8 foot man in a cave. They can't see anything wrong with the news presentation. Even the 1st grade truther 15 years ago cried out mind control. That's accurate, but it's not MK Ultra. It's mind control over hundreds of millions of people. It's not that. That's why the Notnilc, in my opinion, all these truthers latched on. How many videos did we watch over the past 15 years? MK Ultra, Monarch, Project Monarch, and all that. We parroted the stuff that it gave us. Where did all that stuff come from? You think some truther, some sleuth truther just cracked the code one day and we all start parroting what it wants? It wants us talking about MK Ultra. If you think mind control is at this micro level, you're missing the big point that mind control is at the 200 to 300 million people in the United States, and it's a frequency and a resonance. It's not what the Clockwork Orange presented, pinning the eyeballs open. That's why the Notnilc love the truthers talking about MK Ultra and all that. Where does this stuff come from? Predictive program. All the stuff we ran with. If we ran with it, they gave it to us. Who was the original sleuth in the truth community that broke this stuff? Come on, man. Come on, sir. And as usual, even if it wasn't just a horribly obvious Notnilc presentation at every level, they always have its markers. If I look closely enough, I'm sure the 33 would show up in different markers. I didn't look that long. But, okay, it's due to end July 4th. Started on the biggest party day in the world, Cinco de Mayo. Come on. It always has this stuff. Reality itself has to give itself away. We talked about the song that he was most famous for. I guess he produced Biggie and all this stuff, but he had some of his own music. Mo money you come across. Was it Mo Money, Mo Problems? Remember? More money you come across, the more problems we see in the freak-off parties. I mean, more money, more problems. He's got the most problems. It's even in the damn song. Matt, are you saying they knew this would happen to him 20-some years ago when he came up with the Mo Money, Mo Problems song? Probably. Yeah, that's how it works. That's how it works. Did he know? No, he didn't know. He was looking forward to. He was rewarded to a degree. He got 20 years of freak-off parties and 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Johnson & Johnson should send him freaking free bottles and coupons. From the little time I've spent on it, it has jumped out to me early on very clearly that one of Notnilc's goals here, and it will have 5 more major things that it will likely successfully accomplish, it wants to blur what is legal and illegal. It's continuously trying to blur the lines of illegality. So people will ultimately get confused. And the state, in 1984, the state of Oceania or East Asia or whatever, will tell you what is legal and illegal. The people, you stop figuring out for yourself. We will tell you what is legal and illegal. There's no doubt one of the goals of Notnilc in this Diddy trial is to blur what is legal and illegal. So several news reports I've come across said the jury, they didn't pass around the firearms, I guess, so the jury themselves could hold them and load the cartridges. But I guess somebody just came, maybe they put it on a big red pillow or something, and somebody presented the pillow with the firearms. And I know the jury's examining the firearms, and all of this, they don't tell you one bit. Well, okay, well, what's illegal? Well, Puff had AR-15 components and he had firearms, and okay, so I mean, every one of these can be legally possessed. In most states, you just simply wait 7 or 8 minutes in your chair where they do a quick phone background check. Well, there are firearms at the party. The news is presenting like, oh, and the people, oh my God, all these firearms. And so what's illegal about it? The people are getting the sense in this vague way as they watch the details of this trial, and as they're strangely and vaguely presented, that this is illegal. And why is the jury being showed a firearm? It's very clear. Either Puffy, Diddy, whatever, either he legally bought the gun or he got it in a back alley illegally. It's very clear charge either way. What's a jury being shown firearms for? It's some sort of proof that these firearms were at the party. Well, so there's been millions of parties held where the people that went to the big mansion or wherever they went to the party, the owner had firearms. Like, they're not telling you that why any of this is illegal. They're just presenting it as illegal. I mean, the Notnilc was trying to blur even further, blur the lines with the regular people as to what is legal and not, and ultimately people just give up and will say, well, the state will decide what's legal and not, and I don't need to figure it out anymore. And as usual, the biggest downloaded group of all is the news media. I'm not going to spend 20 more hours rooting through all the coverage, but there won't be one reporter, one person making a presentation for Good Morning America that says, it is a little strange. Why is the jury being shown firearms when there is no firearm charge as of yet, and there's potentially no illegality with Sean possessing firearms? Because they won't even ask the question. They will simply, in every single case, just bow down and go along with what the Notnilc wants. And I guess in answering my own question, any sort of real spirit or real entity that found themselves in the middle of ABC News, like you or me, I guess they would have been identified and routed out. We would have been routed out and thrown out a long time ago. The last scene in The Invasion of the Body Snatchers with Donald Sutherland pointing, that those types of entities are in the news media. They got rid of the real spiritual entities, anybody that would push back. They're all gone from the news media. They probably were gone before the big date in September, just like they live. We've got one that can see. We've got a reporter here that may ask real questions. Every single real spiritual being was routed out of the news media a long time ago. And if anybody's new, I don't mean there's alien entities in the news. It's just people, maybe the same real spiritual entity that you are, that choose to absorb and to take on the frequency of the Notnilc reality. It's the frequency download radio station. It's the same concept as the Ship of Fools. They open the door, let it in. They let it in, and once they're on it, they will not go against it. They will defend it. They will become the palace guard, and they will not be able to see the true reality. Nobody on the ship can see it. You have to be able or be big enough to dive off to see the true reality. It's a frequency. The second part of this is like, who is prosecuting Diddy? Well, it's a federal case now, not a state case. The federal charges are based around this weird term racketeering, using the business as a front to cover up illegal activity. But when you tune into this so-called news, you don't hear really anything about the structure of a federal case. You hear about civil lawsuits and civil allegations from a rapper named Kid Cudi. Sean burned his car or something. The part of the seat is charred. Oh, big deal. What does that have to do with anything? There's probably a rapper trying to burn out another rapper's car right now as we speak. Like, this happens at parties all the time. Okay, the civil lawsuit from Cassidy Ventura, the ex-girlfriend who was abused, and this and that. There's civil suits from Cassidy Ventura and these people, all sorts of civil suits. That's what we typically hear about. We tune into the news. Well, he's in New York federal courthouse. Let's hear about the federal case. You hear about vague to racketeering. It's all blend. The point is, guys, it's a big mix, mashed, all blended together on purpose. Its intention is to confuse. It's what the Notnilc is out to do right now. Again, these reporters are just simply not capable of asking these simple questions. All this stuff we hear about, if they're gun charges, then there should be specific gun charges. We haven't heard it. We heard, there's been guns at parties. So if there's specific, you hear the word, I don't know, somehow people don't say this on YouTube, date blank, the R word against a woman. If there's specific R cases, that's a state charge. Where's all that? If there's physical abuse or assault or battery against Cassidy Ventura, then that's a state charge. There isn't any state. All this stuff we've heard about Diddy for the past year, there's no state charges. There's no state trial at this time. But the strangest thing to me, guys, of course, is not what the Notnilc is up to. We expect it at this point. And I guess I expect the news media just to bow down as well. But as usual, nobody is just asking these basic questions. Well, where all of these crimes are, they would come from the state attorney general and the prosecutor's office. Where's the state case? All we hear from the feds is this vague term racketeering, which, I probably shouldn't be giving any predictions or anything like that. I haven't looked at it very much. It's way too soon, but it almost seems like there's so much illegal activity that they're floating around that they want the public to believe he was involved in hundreds and hundreds of different illegal acts, of which they haven't been specific about anything yet. Right now, there's nothing. Against Diddy. Nothing. It's just all vague. Maybe they want it that way. Maybe after all this illegal stuff, maybe he'll just walk and he'll do his little mo money, mo problems rap on the steps of the courtroom and say, I'm free as a bird. And the takeaway from the people will be, wow, it's like, remember maybe they're just following up with a different form of Donald Trump, the 34 felonies. He just, my bad, I'm just walk. There's no jail time. There's no, people think there's hundreds of illegal activities by Diddy and he'll maybe just walk. I don't know exactly what the Notnilc is up to at this point. I don't know if I'm going to follow it anymore. I'm kind of already sick to my stomach of looking at all that I have, but it's just, to the person that's casually taking in 1 minute of news a day, they would think every single charge in the world is being thrown against Diddy, and he'll go away for life, and every charge except murder. But as of right now, there is no specifics against him, and no specific evidence against him. And why this would take 2 months? It's just really strange. And again, I know I don't expect more from reporters, but with the potentially thousands of reporters covering this at all different levels, it literally is a reality giveaway when you don't have one. Just asking some of the simple questions that I'm asking after just looking at it for not even an hour. It's very strange. 99% of the time, guys, when harm is done to someone, battery, assault, an R, whatever it may be, these are state charges. When you have abuses at parties, or even the word kidnapping was thrown around, people being locked with the doors locked at the party, a threat of violence, that's in a way an assault. I mean, these are where's the state prosecutor's office? Why? It's very strange. And again, these strange things happen in reality now. The people around us think it's completely normal. But what's even more disturbing is the news media, and even we could go sit in, there's a law firm in Philadelphia, and we could sit with 5 lawyers at lunch that are just for fun going to talk about the case. And they wouldn't be asking the basic questions we're asking. Not that I know more than a lawyer, but they are firmly affixed on the download. Some people say I throw the term reality breakdown around too loosely. I don't think I do. You go back to remember the Dylan Storm roof case? It was that skinny white kid in South Carolina went into a Baptist church 7, 8, 9 years ago. Dylan Storm roof, the 3 names. Remember that? So he's arrested. I don't know what the first day in court is called. An arraignment? He's not even in the courtroom. He's on some sort of monitor. Remember, there was like a bluish hue. There's 2 sort of deputies standing behind the kid. This is the first day in court. And they have the families of the victims of what happened in the Baptist church in this type of mall event type, school event type thing. The families are able to, most of the family, they're able to speak to Dylan. What? But most of the families, they forgave him. I forgive you. But you were allowed to say whatever you want. I mean, this is a reality breakdown from my perspective. See, typically what we've always heard in this country, you have to actually have a trial, and you actually have to be convicted of something. There's guilt, and there's innocence or guilt, and there's a process called a trial that determines guilt or innocence. And families talking to the accused on the first day, and they could, if they wanted to scream at him and say, "You son of a bitch! You took my husband away from me. You took my father away." They could have screamed. They could have said whatever they want. They were allowed to speak to the accused, but I don't even think there'd been a plea yet. It was totally bizarre. It was a reality breakdown. I'm probably missing 1 or 2 things. And is somebody screaming at me right now saying there was a confession? Really? Like that would matter, that there's a backroom confession? You still have to go through a process to determine guilt, innocence, punishment. On the very first day, the families were talking to the accused, but there was no trial. It was literally a reality breakdown. And then, of course, most of the family members, the victims, they forgave him. Okay, well, the point is not that. The Notnilc is capable of anything at this point. The point is, when I saw this 9 years ago, whenever it was, where are the 1,000 lawyers having lunch that day going, how are these family members allowed to yell and scream or forgive somebody when there hasn't even been a trial yet? What the hell is going on? Anyway, that's real strange. But and there's I know there's a few things about South Carolina protocol that are a little different. I know, but nevertheless, it's still odd. There's some of that going on here with this Diddy trial, where again, I didn't go to no law. I had to take one business law class for Penn State. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I memorized my shit and I just got through it. I don't know shit about it, but I know some basics. And this trial, again, where's the state charges? There's some basic things questions that people should be asking, unless they have their head completely up their ass via the Notnilc frequency. And unfortunately, there's only a tiny group that doesn't. You and me. Thanks for listening.